morning. Welcome to the community briefing. My name is Gregory Sneed, and today is the 20th of March in the year 2025. And I guess we are at our 5-year anniversary. I know that, Chris, I don't know if you had the exact date that we went on. I know I
Actually, this
joined.
is the exact date.
I think it is,
Actually,
right?
today is
Yeah.
the exact date that we
Mhm.
went. We went. I had the first introduction, and then after that, we went live the next week after that. So yeah.
Right. So welcome to the community briefing and the 5th anniversary of the meanest, baddest, best community briefing podcast on the planet. Yes. Okay. So, my name is Gregory Sneed. I'm founder and CEO of Lifesaver Financial Services. I help my clients feel better about their money by helping them keep more of their money. And now it's my pleasure to welcome to the virtual stage the women in Black history, Queen, Ethiopian, Egyptian,
South Central.
South Central.
Yes, South Central.
Well,
Queen of
we
Crenshaw.
live in Northwest South Central. Miss Crystal Mitchell.
Welcome, everyone. Glad to have you. We're excited about our guest today and what he's doing. And so we can't wait to hear from him. But before we do that, yes, I am the inspiration of the community briefing. It was for many of you that are not here. Their first time. This was the inspiration due to the pandemic. We wanted to make sure that our community had a voice and that we would know what was going on, where the money was during the pandemic, and how to get to it, and who we had to make accountable to make sure that they gave it to us. And really, the real reason behind it was Wells Fargo had toted that $500,000 for every crisis that our community had for the last 4 years, and I wanted to see where it was going to really land. And so we had the representative from Wells Fargo, and it landed at Vermont Slauson. So at least I was happy that $500,000 got placed where it was supposed to for our community. But since that time, we have been on air for the last 5 years, as Greg said, as of today, really. And so we've been continuing on to introducing you guys to what is going on in our community, who are the leaders and stakeholders, how we can unite and be in solidarity and start to support our own. The one thing that George Frazier says, that the white savior is not coming to save us. So it is up to us. And if y'all ain't got that message as of January 20th, I don't know what's wrong with you, because it's all on us to protect us. And so this is the platform for you to meet those individuals that are doing and creating some things in our community that is helping us. And also, it's our networking platform. We have a fantastic team. So myself, Greg, he's introduced himself. Mr. Stephen Turner, he is the producer of the program. Actually, Stephen was the one that came to me and said, hey, I want to get in on this. I was like, get in on what, Stephen? I had just done a webinar. So, oh, you wanted to be a podcast. Okay, well, we can make that happen. So that's how we kind of got started. And we brought in Greg and Miss Robin Billups. She's the other female energy on the platform. And I'm going to turn it over to her.
Greetings, everyone. As usual, I'm excited to be here. I'm Robin Billups with the Billups Group. I assess, coach, and help folks get to a strategic framework for the vision that they have as an entrepreneur or a corporation. What I want to say today, we're very big on voting. So if you do not know who your congressional, federal, state, and local politicals are, make sure you know who they are, because it's time for us to start hitting them up with texts and emails and phone calls to force them into action. This is strictly on us. We will continue to talk about that, because again, that's what this platform is for. The final thing that I will say, we have every resource needed to move you forward. You have to plug in. You have to plug in to get that. So don't do without. And I'm going to kick it back over to Greg.
All right, thank you very much. Since we have Isaac Hayes III here, And we've got Mr. Daly here from KBLA. Let me throw on my radio voice and just bring it down an octave and say, welcome to Community Briefing. Today, our guest is Issac Hayes III. Anybody call you Trey? I don't know if anybody call you Trey. But he is a man with a vision to change social media forever. That vision is Fanbase. And Fanbase is the first in-app purchase subscription social media app ever. Ever. Okay? Issac's commitment to creating an equitable landscape for the recent and the next generation of social media users has grown Fanbase to, I don't know if this is an old number, to an $85 million valuation. He'll adjust that when he comes on, making him the first Black man in history to raise millions of dollars in seed funding and on Start Engine in a Reg CF campaign. He'll explain what that is. Fanbase also holds the record for the second all-time high for the most money raised in one day on that platform. And since then, the launch of Fanbase, Issac and Fanbase have been featured in numerous media publications, television networks, and this includes outlets such as Fast Company, Variety, New York Times, Forbes, Earn Your Leisure, Los Angeles Times, The Breakfast Club, Bloomberg TV, etc., etc., etc. So, without further delay, in my radio voice, let me introduce and bring to the virtual stage Issac Hayes III.
Thank you. Do I get the big screen, or are we all? Is it Brady Bunch style? We gonna do the Brady Bunch style?
No. You got the big screen.
Big screen? Okay, cool. Now, so good morning and good afternoon to everybody. My name is Issac Hayes III. I am founder and CEO of Fanbase. If you don't know what Fanbase is, I'm here to tell you about it. And hopefully, during this process of explaining what Fanbase is and how important it is, I will secure also your support as an investor in the company. I've been at this journey since 2018. Remarkably, it seems like yesterday. I don't know why the pandemic seemed like it was yesterday, but it happened very, very fast. But to put it short, so I can get into what I really want to talk about, I noticed that in social media, there's an inequity between Black culture and the monetization that people get from their content. So I met a young creator from Memphis, Tennessee. At the time, was 17 years old, and had went viral on social media. And I just shot him a congratulations for going viral. But in that process, they wanted me to manage them, and I don't manage content creators, but I know what was needed, which is an opportunity to make money. So I said, we need to create an app that's like any social media platform, but the added functionality of being able to subscribe to that person the same way you would subscribe to Hulu or Netflix or Amazon Prime. And so that was the goal that I set out to do. I bootstrapped Fanbase initially with about $200,000 of my own money, which is a gamble. At the time, I should have been spending it on taxes, but it's okay. We took care of that. But without risk, there is a reward. So
Right.
anyway, I built the app all of 2018, from June to December, launched it 2019, and kind of let it sit there because I wanted to develop a proof of concept. I'd spent over 20 years in the music industry, and I know that without creating leverage, you really don't have an opportunity to build anything that puts you at an advantage. So with Fanbase, I got a proof of concept that people would absolutely subscribe to other people the same way they do content. Pandemic hits, we can't move. And so my brilliant CTO says, look, you can't keep funding this out of your own pocket. We got to really raise some money to scale the business. So some phenomenal Black women suggested that I do something called equity crowdfunding. They made the relationships, the connections, they coached me. All different women taught me how to do this. And so I launched on Start Engine the end of 2020. And so over the last 4 years, Fanbase has raised over $20 million in equity crowdfunding. And so to explain equity crowdfunding, basically before equity crowdfunding or the Jobs Act, which is the law that allows me to equity crowdfund, the only way that any of us could invest in an early stage company is be an accredited investor, which is basically already rich. So, have a net worth of $1 million minus your house, make $200,000 a year for 2 consecutive years. And that's every American any race, age, gender, doesn't matter. And that's really just a way for rich people to get the best opportunity in investing in businesses. So Obama and Biden signed the Jobs Act into law around 2012. It kicked in about 2015. And so basically it wiped out the accredited investor rule, which allows anybody to invest in an early stage company, regardless of their net worth or annual income, which is great, especially in the lane of social media and technology, because I absolutely understand, as I'm sure all of you do, that social media users give a platform its value. No users, no value to the platform. So who better than to give the opportunity to have equity in the platform than the people that actually, use the platform. So this has been a remarkable journey. A lot of what we've done is groundbreaking, legendary, first of its kind, including in-app purchase, peer-to-peer subscription. To explain that, Fanbase is a free to download, free to use platform that allows anybody to follow someone for free like they normally would on any social network, but also at the same time, subscribe to that individual, if they so choose, to content that they deem exclusive and put behind paywalls. You might have seen other platforms do this like TikTok and Instagram, but I can guarantee you that Fanbase was the first platform to actually complete this, because at first Apple and Google were not going to let us do it, but we figured a way out how to build around their rules. We filed a patent on that. It's patent pending, but we launched, and now we're in the era of what we call the social economy. And so to put it quickly, social media is the new television. And in the future, all media is going to be distributed through large social networks. So it's not going to be through linear cable television. It's not going to even really be through apps. Those apps themselves will also be put inside of communities where people share that content. And you could kind of see that direction already happening now. With platforms like YouTube and Twitch, you communicate as a community on top of the content, but you don't communicate as a community around it. So Fanbase is basically a container that will allow anybody to share media, socialize, exist, monetize, but also contain any form of media down the road as we add other functionalities and pieces of media. I'm going to jump into a presentation that I use, and then let me make sure that you guys can see this, because I want definitely you guys to be able to see the screen and know what's going on here.
Yeah, we can see it.
You can see this? Okay, cool.
Uh-huh.
Make sure it switches, you can see it too. So first thing that I'll start out is the most recent round that we raised is a $17 million crowdfund. We've raised 10.6 million of that $17 million at a valuation of $160 million on a platform called Start Engine. And I'll show you Start Engine in a second, but I'm going to run through what Fanbase is really briefly so that you kind of know how important this is. So briefly, the landscape. Social media is a new television. Younger generations are spending more time on their phones, on screens for entertainment, news connection, than traditional television. Social media is replacing television. And I myself am guilty of that. I don't really watch TV anymore. I watch my phone or I watch my laptop, and I go to the content that I want to consume. The problem is that the creator economy platforms like Patreon and OnlyFans, if you're familiar with those, they lack true community. They're not communities. They're just, you go there to see content. Once you're done seeing what you want to see, you leave. And then the ad-driven platforms like Instagram and TikTok, they prioritize advertising over a creator's needs, and it ruins the user experience, meaning all of us have followed someone on social media that has a large following, tens of millions of followers, and we don't see their content. That is because the moment that video got added to social media, it turned all of us into television networks. And so someone that has 100 million followers on an Instagram or a TikTok has the visual equivalent of the Super Bowl 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And these platforms know that. So if you could post a video and reach 100 million people, brands would come and pay you to post content on your page and never run ads on Meta or Instagram. So for that reason, they suppress your content down to about 5%. So if you have 100 million followers, the most you'll get on average is 5 million people seeing your content, so that advertisers must pay them to get that massive amount of reach. And that's unfortunate. And then the definition of a content creator has changed, which I think is important. Before, we think of content creators as people that spend an elaborate amount of time on cameras and ring lights and all these things that we do. But we're all content creators. If you post a photo once a year, you're a content creator. If you comment on any piece of content, if you're in the, the comment section, if you're in the DMs, if you're liking, you are creating conversation that is adding to the metric of advertisement that creates revenue for these platforms. So we're all content creators in one way, shape, or form. From the big ones that spend, thousands of dollars making really elaborate content to the person that's just in the chat having a ball. And so the Fanbase solution is it's community-based social media environment, fully monetized business model from day one-stop place for all creator tools because we are all creators and we want to create in some way, shape, or fashion, and AI-driven user-centric environment with no shadow banning, which means we don't suppress your content. Again, Fanbase is free to download, free to use. When you subscribe to an individual on Fanbase, you're not subscribing to Fanbase. So Fanbase itself doesn't have subscribers. An individual user on the platform has a subscriber. And what's important about that is people subscribing to people is going to be bigger than Netflix, Disney Plus, and Hulu combined. And nothing is going to stop that, because the moment that you put a subscription button on a person's social media page, you literally make a connection between the entire planet and an individual as a content provider inside of a social network. And so there are billions and trillions of dollars to be made over the next 10, 15 years by people consuming content for free and then additionally subscribing to people that they enjoy, that added layer of content. The creator economy market is a $480 billion market by the year 2027, which is huge. And I think it's going to be larger than that because, again, real life content is what's going to matter. It's not going to be fiction. It's not going to be primarily scripted content because AI is going to remove that. What people are going to want to see are things that they do not know what's going to happen next. That's why football is the most watched sport on television, because you don't know what's going to happen. And people love the unpredictability of not knowing what's going to happen. Also, 48% of people are willing to pay for subscriptions. We pay for subscriptions now with platforms like Hulu and Disney Plus and Netflix. But I guarantee you that if you have a Netflix subscription, you might watch 5, 6, 7 shows, but they have 50,000. So you're paying $24 to watch 4 shows, but really there's 50,000 there. So why not shrink that down and pay $2.99, $4.99 to the individual content providers, creators, musicians, brands that you want to consume content from. And that's important. So Fanbase is real simple. You can follow anyone for free, subscribe to that same person for a price between $2.99 and $99.99 a month, which they set, but the default price is $4.99. You can unlock content using something called Love. Everybody has the ability to make a Fanbase page, and everybody will earn some money. You will make money using Fanbase, whether you like it or not, because people will tip your content. We are a very transactional society, and once you put a tip button on a person's profile page, you'd be surprised that people will actually pay and tip you for just the content that you've been posting on social media the last 20 years for free. Fanbase has 6 content formats. So you have posts, which are just photos and videos, flicks, which is short form video, which people might call TikTok or Reels, audio chat, which is basically live audio conversations that happen in real time with added functionality and capability. And you might heard of a platform called Clubhouse or X, Twitter X Spaces, where they talk. Stories, we know what stories are. Fanbase Live, which is 9:16 vertical live. And then Fanbase Plus is basically like a version of YouTube. So you can post up to 2 hours worth of content for free, like you would on a YouTube page, or if you wanted to post a TV show, a movie, an event, and make it a paywalled event, you can do that as well. One of the things that we added to audio, which I think is really cool, is something called Watch Party, which is, I love to talk about this because it's really popular on Fanbase. You can take a YouTube video, pin it to the top of an audio room, and watch content with your friends. So it could be an interview, it could be a podcast, a TV show. It's very, very fun. You can live stream. It's pretty interesting. We love about it. This is our traction. One of the things that happened in January was the TikTok ban, and we got over like 420,000 users probably just in January alone. Fanbase has over 1.6.
My ID?
Huh?
I just
Oh, no.
black
Hold on. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Fanbase has 1.5 million users. Our MAU is around 580,000 for 2025. And people spend about 37 minutes a day on the platform. which is extremely, a lot of time, considering that these other platforms have, large time that people spend on them. We got 20 unique features launched in the past year. We've got 12 patent pending and a lot of AI and creator tools coming in 2025 and moving forward. I want to talk about brand experiences, some of the things that you're able to do. You're able to partner with brands if you want to create these branded audio rooms that exist on the web that I think are extremely important and advantageous. And that's part of our revenue model. Most of what we do will come from subscriptions and tips, but Fanbase is something that's extremely different with the branded audio and the things that we're able to do. I don't want to jump too long, into all this because decks can get a little boring. But I wanted to talk more about. Is my camera on?
No, it's not.
Now you lost the camera.
Can you see me?
Nope.
I can't see me.
We can't see you either.
You can't see me?
Nope.
Okay, well I'll fix that. I'll keep talking though. So let me go back to the screen then. Let me go to Start Engine while I have this conversation while I get my camera together. So how I've been able to raise this money, I was on a platform called Start Engine. Anybody is familiar with Start Engine? It's again an equity crowdfunding site where you're able to raise capital. And so I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Here we go. So this is the Start Engine page for Fanbase where we've been able to raise capital. As you can see here, we have raised previously crowdfunded $10 million through equity crowdfunding in 3 previous rounds. And then our latest round, we're raising 17 million and we're almost about 10.7 million with over 11,371 investors. The minimum to invest in Fanbase is $399. That gets you 60 shares of stock in Fanbase at $665 a share at a valuation of $160 million. Why I think this is important is we never really get a chance to invest in like tech companies, right? That have the ability to scale, massively. When you look at the value of a platform like Facebook, which is like a $1.7 trillion company, social media in tech is going to be really, really valuable. And I wanted to make sure that people understand, how important that is that we are able to invest and have equity in companies that we can help scale from a community level. So what would happen is, as you can see, you could click on here and just, go into the platform and decide if you wanted how much you wanted to get equity in. And then a lot of the functionality and features and traction that I spoke about on the deck are here. And this is really, really important because, it gives you an idea of everything that's available for you. But I say this very, very important, like, media is going to be distributed through large social networks, as I said before. Whoever owns those platforms have the opportunity to own trillion-dollar companies in the future. So if Warner Brothers and Disney and Paramount had to do it all over again, they absolutely would have invested in Instagram. They absolutely would have invested in YouTube because they themselves now struggle in reaching large audiences because people just don't want to hop from app to app to app. They want to be inside of communities where they consume content. They want to be inside of Facebook. They want to be inside of Instagram. They want to be inside of TikTok. And so that is why I built Fanbase. And something else that's extremely important just by being in the Black community, our community makes everything cool. We add value to all these platforms. We are the ones that are the least compensated for our creations, our innovations. We see our ideas get stolen. And so I think I'm the person that just got tired of contributing to social media platforms when really infrastructure is the play. If I can't own the infrastructure, I'm not interested in any way, shape, or form, building up another program or another profile or something like that without having an opportunity to own it. So that is exactly why, I decided to do this. Does anybody have any questions?
First and foremost, this is exceptional. I was listening to an NPR program yesterday, and they were talking about the fact that Google had a misstep, and then they're trying to catch up. And everything that you've said has been was validated in the conversation that I heard yesterday on NPR around AI. And so, thank you for being progressive. Thank you for making it plain for as my mother says, Joe Madison would say, you didn't put it where the goats can get it. And here's an opportunity for us to get in on the ground floor. So I'm gonna ask Greg has a question, and then we're gonna move to Linda Morgan has some comments and questions. If you can close out your share screen space. No, we better leave that up because we need the folks to be able to go on there and click on and
Oh, yeah, if they want to see
dive
where
into
to
the
go, yeah,
pool.
startengine.com, sure.
Yeah. Greg?
Yeah, my Isaac. First of all, thanks for the presentation. I'm going to take a stab at that. Your deck may have changed the camera settings from Zoom, so there's a little arrow to the right of video, and maybe select your active camera. So my question is, what are the content restrictions? Are there copyright restrictions? This is available in the United States. Does it go outside the United States? And then are there country restrictions on content? How does that work?
Yeah, so Fanbase is available in 190 countries and territories around the world. We're on iOS and Android. The copyright restrictions are only that if you're going to post something that is exclusive, that you have to have the right to post that content. In fact, before you post it, you have to declare that in the settings of every post that you do, which is just a button, but basically saying I have the right to share what I want to share as exclusive content to monetize it. We don't allow explicit or pornographic content on the platform. Other than that, there's like I said, a wide variety or a wide range of types of formats and content that you can post and put together. So that's something that you're able to do. Is that
Yeah, and if somebody violates that, is there essentially copyright bot police or anything that sort of takes it down, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
So we actually, one of the things that we're getting heavy into is we actually started implementing a brand new moderation system that's heavily AI centered. And when you build those things, you have to recognize the content. Recognize our new AI moderation system recognizes text. It recognizes. Excuse me.
Mm-mm.
That's somebody else in here that's
Can
on mute.
someone
Just keep
please
going.
mute themselves? Thank you. Oh, unless you're getting ready to speak. Is that Linda? You're getting ready to speak?
Yeah.
Ye-
So
Yes, when they finish.
Okay.
yeah, our new AI moderation system recognizes video, audio, text, all types of things. And so that's what does that.
Okay.
Linda?
Hello, sir. How are you? Finally, you've made it to our neck of the woods here in Cali. Thoroughly excited since I am an investor
Okay.
and I've been on your platform. And my question is, how does someone like me who has a huge presence on Facebook, not TikTok, not X or Instagram, move from Facebook and live my life full out on Fanbase? That's what I want to do. But
Well,
I need some hand holding because I'm a little special there, Isaac. As you can see, I
well,
have a picture with me and your daddy. We go way back. So this is kind of personal, family.
He probably
sure,
gets that regularly. Keep talking, Isaac.
for sure. Community. I mean, this is one thing that I say is that community building. This community itself is really what it's about. I would love for this community to actually be on Fanbase as well, because there's a lot of things that you can do via audio, via video, creating camps, organizing. These kind of rooms can be held in an audio form that people don't necessarily have to be in front of the camera. You guys can be anywhere. You can be outside taking a walk. You can still have a conversation and talk about the things you talk about. But I mean, it's pretty simple to create a profile. One thing that we didn't do that we filed a patent on is we do have this thing called content migration, a content migrator, which basically takes up to 1,000 posts from Instagram or TikTok and imports some formats are similar, and it helps you start the platform without starting from scratch. Facebook is a little different because It was more of a web-based platform for the first, 6 or 7 years of its existence. But like Instagram and TikTok were mobile first platforms. But you can create a fan base page, start building community, and then tell your friends to join you over there. Really, like I said, I mean, the most important part about what I love about what we've been able to do is, we've gone from a 20 million to a 50 to a 85 to 160 million-dollar valuation by continuing to build community. And once you get over that first million users, now we have to fine tune, some of the things about our community, especially with retention and stuff like that. But it's just community building at this point. And I always say this, we've never been here before. A lot of what we've done at Fanbase has never been done before. The Black community has never been, the last time we were even somewhere this close to even put in the position was Black Planet. And that was in 2000, where there's a platform that's founded by Black people, but it's for the entire planet. Anybody can invest and have equity in it, but the fact that the people that use the platform in our community have an opportunity to invest is extremely important. And so that's why, I think it's important. But I would love to have all of you on Fanbase as users and investors.
Crystal is on Fanbase, and also I have another podcast called The Business Zone, and it's on Fanbase. So I was putting that on first, then community briefing is coming right behind it.
Cool.
Stephen has a question.
I have a question, and then I'm going to pass over the mic to our social media influencer. What's your relationship to the entertainer Isaac Hayes from Memphis?
Isaac Hayes, my father. I'm the son of Isaac Hayes.
Now you're on the north side of Atlanta, huh?
Yeah, I'm up there I'm up here in ATL.
Okay, and also I'll pass the baton to Linda Hutzer. She had a question.
Hey there, Mr. Isaac Hayes III. Thank you so much for coming. Not often do we get to actually speak to founders of tech companies in this form. So I really appreciate you taking time out to come talk to us. One of the things I'm going to just keep it real, keep it honest. I just joined Fanbase, right? Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I noticed was that it didn't seem, I didn't take all day to look. It didn't seem like there were a lot of older, seasoned members. And my question is, what is your outreach, or how are you reaching out to the more seasoned people?
So, our user base is predominantly African American. It trends towards 25 to 35, but I think we're almost split evenly amongst all demos. But it does actually lean heavily towards older demos because those are the individuals that actually are investors in the platform too. So even though you may not see yourself there, you're there. I promise you are. There's a group of women, seniors that have a walking group on Fanbase and audio, and it's called Walk and Talk Together. And every morning they walk. And
Silver Fox is there too. Isaac Silver Fox.
Oh yeah, Silver Fox is there for sure. Okay. Your community is there. I mean, honestly, like I said, I built this platform for the entire planet, and so there are older people that don't feel like you're too old to be on Fanbase. Don't do that.
No, no. And I actually want to follow up. I want to follow up really quickly, not to take up all the time. With that being said, if I'm thinking that there aren't a lot of seasoned people on the platform, then there's others who feel that way as well. So then with that in mind, what can you do to make it more obvious that it is not open, but there are a lot of silver foxes and seasoned women of a certain age and men as well on there? Because I didn't see that, but like I said, I just joined. Yeah. But I'm sure I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, so when you use Fanbase, we get insights into what you use based on the content you like, the people that you communicate with. So one of the things, it takes some time just because we are a smaller platform, but the more you engage with people that you know, the algorithm will learn. It'll actually start suggesting content that you engage with. So that's one of the things too. It's really like the platform has to take time to kind of learn who you are. And then it depends on the type of content that you're interested in because again, there's stories, there's live streams, there's audio rooms, there's long form content, and then there's just regular posts. So I think you might have some suggested posts or some people to follow, and then audio is a really good way to just meet people and communicate and have conversation to find your community on there as well. But our insights definitely like as you use the platform, it'll start knowing what you're into and then start sending you content based on the things that you're interested in, and then you might find those people interesting and following those people.
Yeah, I
See, I
jumped
Audio is
into
kind of like Clubhouse. If most people were on Clubhouse, you can correlate
excuse
audio.
me, you guys, we were trying to manage this because he has a hard stop at about a quarter to 10 till 12. So I'd appreciate if you guys have a question, drop it in the chat box. Greg had a question about how did you arrive at the name? And the bigger question is how do people invest? What's the next step? What's your call to action for this crew? And then
Yeah.
Mr. Roberts has a question.
Well, so the name Fanbase, the reason why I came up with that name,
Excuse me.
the fact that every single person on the planet is a fan of something.
Mhm.
It could be sewing, it could be gospel music, it could be football, it could be wrestling, it could be anything that you think of. And so we all have these very niche interests of things that we're really, really into. And then on the opposite end, we all have a fan base. It might not be a lot of people, but I think the nature of human beings is to be supportive of one another, whether we realize that or not, is that we want to see people that aren't famous become famous. We want to see people that have dreams fulfill their dreams. Of course, there are always going to be haters, but buried within your following on social media is a people that our group of people that want to see you succeed. And so my initial thought is that everyone is a fan of something and everyone has a fan base. And so that's why I chose the name Fanbase. It just fits perfectly that, you realize that even with creators don't even understand this, athletes, musicians, people just don't understand that 95% of the people that follow you on social media are not fans, right? They're either nosy, they're haters, or they're mildly interested in what you do. I'll follow you, I'm interested. But that smaller group of 3 to 5% of those people really like you, and they whatever you're saying and whatever you're into, they want to support you. And so if there's no mechanism to show support, there's no way to monetize. And then social media spent the last 20 years or so convincing people that their content isn't worth anything, so they trade attention for content. And while you're trading that content, you're giving that content for attention, they're taking that content and running advertising in between that and making billions of dollars and giving you nothing. So the mindset of shifting that your content has value is really what we have to lean into. The fact that if all of us were to start a business today, and let's say we were selling, I don't know, oatmeal raisin cookies, I'm just gonna throw it out there, right? And if we had to give away oatmeal raisin cookies for free until somebody came along and said, this is the best cookie ever, and then everybody go buy it, our business wouldn't be successful. We would go out of business before we could. That's kind of what people do, is people give away this massive amount of content for free, hoping that it turns into some level of fame that they can and then manipulate and scale to something, some sort of monetization. And 99% of people don't do that. But I guarantee you, the people that focus on creating content and building community, and then if you want to monetize your content, or if you're looking for a place where you can consume the content that you want to, the Fanbase serves as the perfect place to achieve both of those things. As for the next question, I'm going to switch back to where you can actually go again to invest here. This is a Start Engine, our Start Engine page. And like I said, we're at 10,679,000. We're going to 17 million. The minimum to invest is $399. The average investment is $1,000. And we've raised probably about 6 or 7 million of this in the last 3 or 4 months, like right after right after the election, everything just picked up. And people were really just going hard about investing. And I think even what's going on with the market right now, retail investing is and this is something that I also say too, especially in the Black community. I have to say this all the time. It's funny how these opportunities exist and people barely know about them, but they will put every ad in front of us to go to gamble in Vegas or play the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Things like that, like lottery tickets, going to gamble in Vegas, betting on sports, all these things they'll put in front of us, especially the Black community, but no one will talk about really taking capital and investing in businesses that can scale and create a significant return. And then in retail investing, a good return on a retail investment is, 14%. But, these individuals that are able to put, $2,000, $1,000, $5,000 into startups and get, 10x, 100x, 1,000x return on the investment, that is what equity crowdfunding does and investing in early stage companies does. And it's a risk, but I think it's a risk that can translate to the beginnings of creating generational wealth, things that you can create and hand down and build upon, especially with technology. Technology is going to be the fastest way to create wealth moving forward. We see that now. Of the 10 top billionaires, the richest people on the planet, I think 8 of them are in the tech space. And the other 2 are in the retail space, but they use technology to sell their products.
And they're really in the real estate game. They're not really in the retail space. They're in the real estate game. They happen to have retail operations, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have Miss Roberts has a question, and we're
Also Tanya and Naja.
yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Next,
Okay.
Miss Roberts.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, kudos to you, Mr. Hayes, for all the incredible work that you have done. I've been on your platform since you started. I'll say that. Initially, I know that there was a little bit of a fee that we had to pay, and I did that for a while. I was on Clubhouse and came off Clubhouse when I found out about your platform. That being said, just picking back up the torch probably about 2 months ago, I invested on Smart Engine, and I'm also a person that gets your text messages from community. But it stated that we needed to go back in and make sure that our investments had actually been taken. So I got 100 shares. I rounded up whatever that option was, but I needed to find out, and I haven't been able to get in contact with anybody to make sure that my investment was accepted. I did everything that they said on Start Engine. I just wanted to know who I might be able to reach out to ensure that my investment was solidified, and you did in fact get it, because I know $600, $700 is no big deal, but it is, and we want to make sure that it gets to you. So that was my question, because I haven't gotten any callback from Start Engine.
So when you invest in Fanbase, you create a Start Engine account, and so
Yeah, I did that.
Fanbase, you're not in, like, Fanbase doesn't facilitate the investment, which is a good thing. Start Engine is actually the custodian of your shares. So think of it as your portfolio. So if you log into your Start Engine account, you should be able to see the status of your Fanbase investment, your shares and everything. So the first thing I would do is log in startengine.com and then click on your portfolio and then see if your shares are in there. And it'll tell you exactly like when you invested or XYZ. If you don't see that, then there is investor support that is inside of Start Engine that you can reach out to. And then if not, you can email support@fanbase.app to ask those questions. But I always say start with Start Engine, because I have a Start Engine account. I've invested in other Black startups on Start Engine, so I can see my portfolio all the time of the companies that I've invested in. So that's where I always start with. And that's important. The email, the investment confirmation part is important, because sometimes people forget to do that. Sometimes people will be asked to confirm their investment and they don't. And then the investment gets sent back to them and people think they've invested in Fanbase and they hadn't. And that's just something that makes it really transparent and important, that, we want to make sure that this is what you want to do. It's not like you just say, I'm invested and then the money's gone. Because this is a SEC qualified investment. We had to go through compliance and all these other things. And so they want to make sure that you are confirming that you want to invest. But if you don't confirm that investment, in some instances, that money will get sent back to you. Sometimes people don't have to confirm, everything runs smooth. But so I would start with Start Engine, and then if you don't see that, then definitely reach out to investor support.
And thank you for that clarification. And one last thing, because I do a tour with the Black College Expo, which I'm here right now at Johnson C. Smith in North Carolina.
Mhm.
If we were able to, and I talked to you several years ago, me and actor Hill Harper, because I do a digital financial revolution tour too across the US.
Mhm.
But if we were just to get these students at these HBCUs, even at this level, before they get to into the collegiates, to download this app, it would be a huge thing. And you know, I don't know what we might need to do with the Black College Expo and Digital Financial Revolution Tour, but we see thousands, like we'll see 2,000 kids here today. If they
Mhm.
all just downloaded Fanbase, or we had some sort of way to collaborate with you, not, I don't even, and I know you're raising
Ms.
money. We're all
Roberts,
doing
we're
what,
running
yes.
out of time. We're running
I'm
out of
off.
time.
Thank you. Love and peace and blessings.
So what I ask you to do is, reach out to them directly.
Yes, ma'am. I
Okay,
got
thank
you.
you. And we'd like for you to come on with that information. You guys, when we do these presentations, we need to be mindful of other folks' time. And the other piece being, we're looking for presenters. If you have information that you need to present and ways we can collaborate, we'd welcome that opportunity with the community briefing. Ms. Ball, Laura, I'm sorry.
Because right now Russia is controlling. Hi, Isaac. I just had a question of how who I could talk to about how we might use this, create a community calendar. We have issues about how to even coordinate all the special events that we do in the city. Is there a way to use this fan base to create, something like that for community, to direct people, to create something like that, and then other civil rights or activation types of options? Do you think we'd have to have each individual organization, or can we create a hub, or a post, or a blog, or how do you see something like that? Which of the applications do you see where that might fit?
I would suggest that each individual organization create a fan base account, and then collectively, what I love about technology is it gives us the opportunity to organize virtually. Like this right here is so convenient that we're all, wherever we are across the planet or across the country, that we can actually communicate with each other in real time, which makes technology super, super convenient. And without the ability to organize in that fashion, and it really makes movements very, very hard. Before we had the Black Church, which is the where we kind of gathered and did that. Um, but also we need virtual places to have these types of conversations in real time and organize and get out to vote, challenge.
Okay, cool, we stop.
Excuse me?
Or
If someone,
does it take a peacekeeping?
I don't think it's you, but I think somebody else's should be put themselves on mute, please, because we hear someone talking in the background.
Yeah, so it's definitely my suggestion that you create a fan base account, and then definitely also with that, you can also create an audio camp around a specific topic or organization. And then every time you host audio rooms, because the audio rooms can have thousands and thousands of people. There's a limit to the amount of people that can get on a Zoom call. But audio, you can have thousands and thousands of people on an audio conversation. And that's what I love about audio. It just, the video portion takes so much bandwidth, but you can organize a chat room. We have a chat room in our audio functionality, and multiple people can speak on stage. And so I suggest doing that, like everybody create an account and organize in audio.
That's awesome. I do know I know someone that asked a question about the age. I've been in several audio chats and had some great conversations with people of all ages. I think I was on one the other day about does AI make you dumber? And we had a excellent conversation. And I've actually been on a couple of them that you've been on, Isaac. I pop in, I get notifications of audio conversations that's going on daily, actually. So you guys have to check that out. And it's something, it's like, it's just like Clubhouse. So it's pretty cool for that conversations, just what's going on today.
You know, one of the things that I think is critical, you guys have to do your due diligence before you approach somebody like this. He's getting inquiries and information from everywhere. But take the time to go on Fanbase and look at the platform and what it's offering. And then that way you can actually send your questions directly there. But I think we have to spend some time on this platform to better understand how we can utilize it, how we can find our community. Isaac, I know we want to honor the fact that you have a hard stop. We need you to come back. We need you to come back. We're going to need you in about another 6, 8 weeks because we're hopefully with this audience, we're going to have some investors here and we're going to need you to come back and give us an update. We believe in what you're doing. We know the history and the legacy of who you are. You know, take the time to visit his LinkedIn profile so you guys get a clear understanding of his background. This is not something that's new to him. He's a branding genius because he's kept his father's legacy going while also building his own brand and his own business. So we just value this relationship with you. Know that the community briefing is your alliance partner and everybody that we bring to the table. This has been fantastic. We got 12 million more questions, but we know you got a hard stop.
Yeah, but I appreciate the opportunity to really just, present this because again, I think that, um, you know, I've seen so many inventions and so many creations by Black people, um, been
Swallow
taken
that.
advantage of and stripped away. And I think that it's something that we can own and scale and create
Yeah.
wealth from, that everybody's going to want to use anyway, because wherever we go, we are the party.
Yeah.
Uh, make it exciting. And so we should definitely, absolutely, um, turn our innovations into acquisitions so that we really truly benefit. When you think about this, everything that Black people really make popular are infrastructures, but they don't own. And what I mean by that is like we power these industries, but we don't own them. So if you look at the NBA, the NFL, it's powered by Black athletes, but it's owned by predominantly white people. You look at the music industry, it's powered by Black musicians, Black culture, Black content, but we don't own the record labels. We don't own any of these things. When you think about social media, it is
Mhm.
powered by youth and Black culture, but we don't own these apps. And so it's a lot easier to build a virtual infrastructure of a community than it is to build a stadium or a record label or a recording studio. So that is really why we have to start thinking about virtual infrastructures that we can own, and then scale up, because those wind up being worth trillions of dollars, like I said, billions of dollars. So I'm going to drop the link to the offering in the to the chat. I think I just sent it to you, Robin. Let me see if I can send it to everybody. I'll
Well,
send
we're
it to
going to
everybody.
want to get our community briefing there on Fanbase and
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put it out one. I'm putting on the business zone right now, uploading all of our videos over there, and then I will be adding the community briefing over there.
Cool.
So is there anything grand on the horizon? Is this this is it? This is like the retirement plan. This is out the legacy, and this is
The only thing that I know that we want to build, that we're building in 2025, is our version of Twitter, microblogging. It's called Fanbase Spark, and it'll be coming this year because again, Twitter's become just a haven for racists and all that kind of stuff. And I think again, it's more infrastructure. We were Twitter, we were Black Twitter, so we just need
Yeah, and
infrastructures.
I know a number of people have gone over to moved off of Twitter and gone to Blue Sky. And I got I'm the co-director of Recycling Black Dollars, so I'm all about supporting Black business. Our founder, Muhammad Nazardine, started it about 35 years ago. But I get emails like, okay, where do we go that is Black owned? And so I put, you guys were obviously on the top. There's a couple others, but they're not quite at the space where you are. Fanbase is. And the only thing close to it was Blue Sky. So yeah, we would welcome that as well. And for that matter, you want to add in a LinkedIn kind of version as well. So then all the Black businesses are in the same place.
Very true. Very
We'll
true.
find investors for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I have to go, but I appreciate the opportunity. I will come back.
Thank you.
But I
Whatever.
time and hope to continue the conversation about Fanbase. And what
I
we
just
can
have
do.
one question.
We'll
Can
see
you
you
sing?
next week.
Can you sing? Can you sing? Isaac, can you sing?
Well,
I just want to know, can you sing?
other than that, I'm not. I can't. I could, but I can't. I'm not going to.
You sing about like I do. All right. God bless you.
Thank
We're
you.
here for you. We're supporting you. We're going to increase that investor base.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care now.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That
Guys,
was
this has been wonderful. This has truly, truly been wonderful. These are the kinds of individuals we look for. And as I said early on, any of you guys who have some information, resources, illumination that you can provide for our community, we're looking for you. We are looking for you. This is the way we grow our businesses. This is the way we learn how to do business. And I'm just excited about where we're going. Linda, you got 2 seconds.
Come and give me that hand like no grandmama.
Yeah.
No, what I wanted to know quickly from the 26 people that are here left, besides myself and one other person and Crystal, how many of you guys are investors? Or you just now? Okay. See, that's a question that you ask so that you can find out the
No.
collectiveness
No,
of the
no.
group.
That's no,
Yes,
because
yes,
that's putting people on blast. So that's why I said, let's open up the
How
opportunity.
much you investor as an investor? You're just saying whether or not you are an investor. You are not putting anything on blast, but I understand. Thank you, my sister.
I want to thank everyone, the ones that are here for the first time. Thank you so much for joining us, and please come back next week. Stephen, are you still there? Stephen, yeah. Can you tell us who's going to be here next week and the week after? Because I think we got somebody exciting the week after as well.
Next week, we have Damian Wilkins from the family of Dominic Wilkins. In his own right, Damian is a 11-year NBA veteran.
Yes.
He is the general manager of Overtime Sports. He's bridging the gap between high school kids and the pros and finding avenues for them, as well as he's going to talk about the importance of name, likeness, and image, and how to capitalize on that. Damian Wilkins.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen.
And who's after that?
And after that is a young lady. She's an educator, right? Adrian. You're on mute.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, but thank you guys. Please come back. Please tell everyone. And as Robin has said, that we are always looking for great people to come contribute to our to the platform, to speak on our platform. Even yourself, if you have something that you want to share. But the one thing, as I said at the top of this, is as Black people, we're going to have to come together. We are beyond the timeline. And solidarity is necessary for us to survive if we're going to stay on this plane, on this country. Because as they said this during the Nazi invasion. They first came from the Jews, and then they started doing the pecking order, and they came on down. Y'all can guarantee once they eliminate all of the migrant workers out of this country, who the heck do you think they come in for to pick the cotton? Right? They already know the experience. They already know what you can do. So they're not trying to guess about that. They already know. So if they haven't yet to say they deporting us anywhere, because they got a plan for us too. So if we continue in the vein that we're going in right now, it could be sooner than later. So we need to rise up. We need to speak up. I know we're trying to let everybody else get there, find out and effing around and find out. But at the same time, we're not mobilizing. So we need to mobilize and make sure that we can protect. If y'all don't want to protect yourselves, at least protect your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, and your neighbors' kids, because that's very, very important. Yes, Stephen?
Sarah Harris has announcements.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, yeah, Sarah.
And then Linda, you got to.
Real quick. We're having the BBA's having our Salute to Black Women next Saturday. Tanaya Luckett, who's on here today, good to see you on here. She will be one of our honorees. It's going to be a wonderful time. please go to bbala.org. Come on down. We have a great youth forum as well as a women's leadership symposium before the awards luncheon. Amazing vendors. Come on down March 29th. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. As we're closing out, I guess that's the closeout of Women's History Month. And then we're moving on into Business Month in April. But again, guys, come on back and go on over and take a look at Fanbase, and there it might be something to your pleasure over there. As a business owner, you definitely need to have a platform to network and market in. So we social media is the way to go about that, because as he said, all eyes are on your cell phone and on your computer, and we all spend time over there, and we're not necessarily always welcome everywhere else, and everywhere else takes thousands of people in order to monetize. This one you can monetize as soon as you sign up. And
Well,
you can do the education training in the live audios. You can do workshops and classes. That's what Gilbert and I are getting ready to do on Fanbase. That's why I'm putting the business zone over there, because we're going to start teaching over in that platform. There's a lot of entrepreneurs over there.
Well, and the other thing is too, my philosophy is everybody's an entrepreneur. Even if you get a W-2 from somebody, you actually have a set of marketable skills that you have sold because you negotiated your salary. And so we have to have an entrepreneurial spirit. And then the other thing, we have to understand that we're in a global economy. You know, some people's executive assistants are sitting in India, in Thailand, and places like that. So we have to be more global. And the final thing that I'll say is we have to understand that we won't be the grandparents and the seniors like our parents. We have to stay connected because that's where everything is. It's not a question of you don't feel like it, you don't want to, it's too much. That's the only way you're going to be able to do business. The government, that's the reason why the Doge folks are being successful. They're forcing everybody to start utilizing these platforms. So the more you utilize a platform, the more familiar you become, and raise your hand. If you need some help, you need some support, that's what the community briefing is for. That's the reason why we bring the guests on that we bring on so that we can grow our marketplace and grow our community.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm gonna close it out. We're past 12 o'clock, but what I didn't get to say earlier is this platform is powered and supported by Recycling Black Dollars and the BBA, the Black Business Association, as well as monetarily sponsored by Los Angeles LDC, Southern California Edison, PCR, SoCal Gas, and Wells Fargo Bank, and Urban Excellence. And any of you can also support us. Just need to let us know and go to our website, and there's a donate button there. So thank you guys so much for joining us. For those, I'm going to stop the recording and everything, but for those of you that want to stay on for the after session, which is sometimes kind of fun too, you're more than welcome to do so. And come on back next week for Damian Wilkins talking about the future of basketball and the entertainment of sports. We so welcome you.
Now here.
Uh-oh.